All right, you've turned in your puzzle box working drawing. You've got everything fitting together right. It's time to laser out all of the parts. Before we do that, we need to get a file set up, a folder set up in the shared students location where you can save all of these parts. If you go to the network folder icon and go to the student drive, the S drive, you're going to navigate to the RU folder, IED, and in the period that you're in, there should be a folder called Puzzle Box. Now, in that, you're going to create a folder. Let's right click and say New Folder. And you're going to put your first and last name. Student name right here. All of the things that we do in this video are going to get saved to this location. So I've got 3 different parts. Some of you might have more than that, but I have 3. The top and bottom are the same, the right and left are the same, and the back. So I need 3 DXF files. Let's start with the right side. In the assembly, double click on the right side, and you can see that the rest of your assembly becomes translucent. This is a shortcut to get into an individual part. So I'm in the part file right now. Let's right click. Notice how when I hover over the face, it highlights. That is the part that I need. That's the outline of the part, right? So I'm going to right click, export face as. Remember, we created that folder, so let's tell it to go to that folder. And let's make sure we call it, I'm going to go RU top bottom. Oh, not top bottom, right left. Make sure your name is in there and you identify what part it is. Now, before we hit save, we need to go to the options button. There is a file version. Now, by default, it's on AutoCAD 2018. We need to choose this last version of AutoCAD. Select Finish and Save. To get back into the assembly, hit the Return button and repeat those steps for all of the other parts that you need to cut out. You can pause this video now until you have that done. All right, so now that you have all of the DXF files completed and saved in that folder, we're going to open up CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is the green pencil icon on your desktop. And we're going to go ahead and say File New. And let's give it a name. This is going to be RU Puzzle Box. Okay. And we need to set the size of our workspace. Well, if you're going to be printing on or cutting out on the blue laser in the 2765 AV engineering lab, you're going to put 32 by 18. If you are going to print in the aviation room, that is the gray laser, and that one is 24 by 12. So you kind of should know where you're going to print to before you set this up. Let's click OK. And it's already got my file name in the top left corner. There's my workspace that I told it to set up. And The next thing you're going to do is find a piece of material that you're going to cut out. Now, most of the material that we're going to use is going to be 18 by 9. However, sometimes there's odd shaped pieces that you'll be forced to use. So go and find a piece and measure it before you do this next step. The reason why we need to measure it is we need to set boundaries for the size of the piece we're actually cutting onto. So what I did was left click on this ruler and drag out kind of a guideline. And I want to set that to be at 18 inches. You can see it move over to exactly 18 inches on this ruler. I'm going to also pull a ruler down. Now this is at 18, and so I want to go minus 9 inches. So this is actually going to be at 9. Okay, this is the size of most workpieces, 18 by 9. So all of my parts, all of my DXF files need to fit in this boundary. So let's bring in a piece and see how we can do this. We're going to go to File, Import. We need to find where that file is located. There it is. Let's click on Import. And let's go ahead and select, if you, for some reason, you should probably have automatic selected by default. You do need to select English 1-to-1 and click OK. Wherever I click is where the part will go in. So let's somewhere on this workspace, I usually start in the upper left-hand corner. And there is my part. All right. Up here, you can see that there are dimensions to the size of that part. So it's 4 by 4.5. I would say most of your parts are going to be 4 by 4.5 or have the 5-inch dimension in there. So make sure that that looks right, matches with your title block. And you can notice that you can click on this part, but it's 2 separate pieces. That can be kind of a bad deal if you move it around and the circle doesn't come with it. So as a good habit, always highlight the part you're bringing in, go to Arrange, and Group. Now, whenever you click on it, the whole thing travels together. Now I've got 2 parts, 2 right and left hand sides. So I'm just going to do a edit copy and an edit paste. Now be careful, it'll put it right on top of the other part. So you just have to drag it off. And now I've got my right and left hand sides. You need to make room for all parts, all 5 parts to fit on here. Now, some things you might need to do. You might need to rotate a part. And so you can do that by using this rotate command. So I can rotate by 90 degrees and move things around. Another thing that I don't want to see you do is have things so close together. You should have at least, I would say, 1/4 of an inch or more between parts. So don't go like even all the way to the edge of the page. Give yourself some room and give yourself some room between other parts. So that looks about right. I've got to make sure I can fit all of my other pieces in here, but it can be done. You just might need to rotate some of them. All right, that is it for this video. You should have all 5 parts on there. The last thing we'll need to do is just save this to that shared location. It's already got the file name. So I'll hit save. If you have any other questions, feel free to rewatch the video or find me to help you out.